resilient business processes and analytics, which is sort of very different starting point. So I believe efficiency and innovation will coexist. Co-creation is how you create value. Continuously reconfigure resources like Li and Feng. Real-time action. What would happen if my heart has a problem and the information goes to the doctor in charge and he says, all right, I'll take care of it next week? That's not a good idea, right? There may be no need. In other words, procrastination, which is so endemic in management, may be a thing of the past. Everybody asks me, we have lots of inventories. Why? Because procrastination. People know the sales are going down, but they don't act. So in other words, we pay the price in inventory buildup. And then we make a virtue out of it by saying, in fact, one CEO told me, why do you have so many inventory? So almost half a year's sales in inventory. And he said, because we are very customer-oriented. I said, can you explain this to me? Anytime any customer wants anything, we have it. I said, if you're so customer-oriented, you must anticipate what they want. So you should have only 1 day worth of inventory, not half a year's worth of it. What is the problem? Procrastination masquerading as customer orientation. It has nothing to do with customer orientation. Now the same company runs with 15 days more efficiently. So they used to run with half a year worth of inventory. So table stakes. For those of you who are gambling oriented, you know what I mean. Capital, materials, and technology is required. Everybody needs it. But the real advantage is how to connect strategy and operations. And the connection comes from business processes and talent in the organization. So that's the connection between the two. So access to talent means it must be global search. It cannot be just in any one country. It's sort of interesting for me. Always people ask me, do Western countries have to go to China and India for access to talent? Of course, I say yes. Then they think, oh, you're thinking of outsourcing. Yeah, maybe. But maybe insourcing competitiveness is the better approach. But what people do not recognize as much is Indian and Chinese companies are coming and searching for talent like crazy in the West. Why do you think they're making all these big acquisitions? Why do you think Tata's is making an acquisition of Jaguar? Is it because it's an extraordinarily healthy company? Or you think it has extraordinary understanding of design and good engineering? Bad marketing maybe, but good engineering. Why are they buying Chorus? If you think about it, large number of companies from emerging markets are coming and making acquisitions, not for assets, but the human capital, as much as assets. So this is happening both ways. Western companies better go to China and India to get high-quality talent, engineering talent or whatever. Indian and Chinese companies are coming to Europe and the United States to find very high-quality management talent. So it is happening both ways. It's not a one-way street. This is just one approach, and I just wanted to share with you IBM's approach to mobilizing talent. You can see in one project how many people are involved and how many locations. How many of you already work like this? 14 locations for one project and 100 people in that project. Is it more fun or less fun? Can it reduce the time? More importantly, how do you collaborate with people whom you never see? How many of you think you can take 2 months off in a year and make this system work? That's an interesting question always for me in Europe. Or how many of you think in order to make this work, it has to be 24/7? Should the Chinese always wake up at night so that they can talk to you? Or maybe once in a way, for pure reciprocity, you are willing to wake up at night. Just imagine this. So what happens to your private time versus public time? When you ask Indian IT companies, they will tell you there's only one time, customer time. If it's at 2 o'clock in the night and you happen to be in Tokyo, and that's the only time we can find a conference call, that's when you take the conference call. But if you have a meeting with a customer, you're excused. No other reason. Now, will it work all the time when people become more affluent? It may not. But global collaboration requires that we have a very different pace and rhythm in our organizations. And that is the main point. I'm not suggesting we wake up at 2 o'clock at night, but it's not a bad idea. If you look at where we come from, firm-centric, developed market orientation, product and service approach to innovations, and the focus on cost, time, and quality, given digitization, connectivity, and technology convergence, social activism, social networks, and emergence of thematic communities, communities of choice, where people from different parts of the world come together because they all care about the same thing. We are moving to a co-creation oriented view, N equal to 1, R equal to G, global markets including bottom of the pyramid. That's why I gave you the example of diabetes, which is not from a developed country, not only for rich people. Personalized experience and focus on real time. And in our book, we talked about experience quality management, where you have the efficiency of TQM with variability of experience. In other words, Google can say you can have any experience you want, you construct your own experience. How would you like if the servers went down for half an hour? I don't think it would be a good idea. So you need absolute quality in the way the servers are managed and the ability through software to give you unique personalized experience, both at the same time. So I believe that collaborative capacity, integrative capacity, and project management may be very important. But questions like inside versus outside the firm, US market versus the rest of the world, high-end versus low-end, on-site versus off-site, all those distinctions may not make any sense. So I believe this is going to be the new house of innovation. You start by looking at one consumer experience at a time. There's one pillar called N equal to 1. Global resource base, that's another pillar, that is R equal to G. The foundation is the information architecture, IT architecture. On top of the house, which is most important, that's give the character to the house, is values, skills, training, performance. It's the social architecture. And connecting all them as a glue is the resilient business processes and focused analytics. I believe the world is going in this direction. And therefore, knowledge intensity, experience intensity, focus on one consumer at a time, development of new markets, a new price performance focus may be quite important. I believe we'll get there only by imagining this future. If you ask me whether you can analyze your way, I say no. Imagine it first, then you can create it. But you need a lot of passion and courage in order to do it. Because this is important. I'll come back in the next session. This is about accepting and respecting the centrality of the individual and the interconnectedness of the world. That, I think, is philosophically a very important conclusion. And that's where I think all your businesses will be going. And I think if you're not going to do it, somebody in your industry is going to do it. It's only a matter of time. Let me stop here.